Today was the last day of Stage 2 of ESL Pro League Season 21. That means we have decided all 8 playoff teams with our final bout of elimination matches today, so let's go ahead and talk about it. We had Liquid overcoming 3D Max in a 3-game series, Eternal Fire taking advantage of a missing Niko in a crucial final map to beat the Falcons 2-1, and then we ended the day with GamerLegion taking care of GamerLegion 2-0. Let's not waste any more time, and before we get started, make sure you guys take a second, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as it helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm, as well as with helping out our goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so it's much appreciated. And lastly, let's go ahead and thank today's sponsor. That's right, this video is sponsored by Skin Club. They are one of the most popular case opening sites in the scene with over 100 custom cases backed by their provably fair system. You can open cases individually or wager your winnings against other users in case battles, either with players around the world or privately with bots if you want to avoid being smurfed outside of Premiere as well. But wait, there's more. Skin Club runs monthly events with free rewards to earn, free daily cases, and if you don't like what you earned, you can always go for a cheeky little upgrade to get something you do. If you want to play on Skin Club, you can do so at the top link in the description down below and get a 7% deposit bonus when you top off your account with credit card, crypto, or the 5,000 Peach 50 sand dunes in your inventory. Please gamble responsibly and only do so if you are over 18 and live in a country or jurisdiction that doesn't restrict gambling. Gambling can be an addiction, and you should never gamble for the purposes of making profit, only wager what you are comfortable losing. If you or a loved one are suffering from gambling addiction in the US or Canada, you can reach out to 1-800-GAMBLER toll-free to get help. I want you to be safe and healthy always, so seek help if you need it. And thank you to Skin Club for sponsoring this video. Alright, so I have to say first off, I am actually surprised that Liquid beat 3D Max. I do think obviously the personnel in Liquid are substantially better than 3D Max, I think that goes without saying, but the structure, the depth of strategy, the coordination of 3D Max just weighs heavier in favor for me than Team Liquid does. I think Team Liquid tend to choke, especially in these important games, but no, this was a great series from them. They looked decisive on Inferno, even better on Anubis, which is obviously one of their home maps. And while they got battered on Ancient, a lot of that really comes down to a very poor T side and Exercise having an excellent pop-off performance. But we'll go one step at a time. This Inferno was incredibly close. Obviously it was a 13-11 scoreline, which means it comes down to just the last couple of rounds. 3D Max capped off a 4-round streak to bring this back to a tie game on round 22, where things start off with a great B defense, where Lucky gets a pick on Ultimate over the top of the Banana Smoke. Meanwhile, Gravity pushes down mid to seal off the extra T still in Banana, getting a double kill for his troubles. JKS and Naf are then left in a 2v5, which they navigate really well, allowing 3D Max to overextend and make some positional errors, like JKS getting a pick on Exercise pushing down mid. They then slowly acquire the bomb, they wait things out even longer, they catch a very lucky timing going through apartments to a newly vacated A site where they're able to get the bomb down. Unfortunately, they're not able to convert a massive clutch. It would have been unreal if they had, so now we're all tied up. In the next round, I think 3D Max just gets unlucky here, no joke intended, because Lucky is left alone on the solo B hold, and he gets too aggressive here. As soon as he hears the Liquid players pushing up Banana, he needs to molly and rotate, but as the smokes come out, he mollies and then commits to a spray through the smoke. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with doing that. Wanting to get some exchange of damage before you give it the bomb site makes a ton of sense. But here, he overcommits, he allows himself to get shot through smoke and give it the bomb site virtually for free for a trade that the T's are going to take every single time. Maka does hit a nice get back shot through the smoke with the op on Twist, but Nerds in Church makes this retake basically impossible. Had Lucky just done a little bit more diligence to not over-aggress here, this could have been a 5v5 retake, which considering Liquid's lack of utility and weaker weapons, I think is in favor of 3D Max more often than not. Just a little bit of impatience now gives Liquid match point. And I think Liquid play this match point pretty perfectly into their strengths. They know that 3D Max is not going to have the same individual strength that they do, so things are very simple. It's very contact heavy up mid. Nerds gets the great entries wrapping around Arch into the side. He takes 2 with them before the bomb even goes down. And this retake is just too difficult. Even for the best teams in the world, the A retake is just so tough. And even though Lucky gets a pick, they get another pick from Apartments, Twist and Ultimate combined well to take the trades back and win the game. Like we talked about on Ancient, there's not too much to get into. 3D Max just ran over Liquid on this map. Their T side was very poor, they couldn't take much map control, and Exercise just had a pop-off game. He had 17 kills on the CT side to start off, and that's just gonna happen. That be what it do. Like, what are you gonna do when he's just gonna multi-kill like every goddamn round? You just gotta take that L sometimes. So it's an odd series from a structural standpoint, right? Because Liquid won 3D Max's pick on Inferno, and then 3D Max won Liquid's pick on Ancient. But unfortunately for 3D Max, in the decider, you're stuck playing Liquid's arguable strongest map in Anubis. And I gotta wonder in the pick ban why there wasn't more credence considered to a second round Anubis ban from 3D Max. You know how strong Liquid is on that map. I don't think you should be allowing that to be floated as a decider if you can avoid it. Not to overharp on the numbers, because vetoing is definitely a tricky science, but Nuke is just a much more vulnerable map for Team Liquid than Anubis is. Over the last 6 months, Team Liquid are an 80% win rate team on Anubis, compared to 40% on Nuke. And granted, some of that sample size is with Yakindar and not NERTZ, but even just for the last month, this team is much better on Anubis than it is on Nuke. It's just the truth. They don't play Nuke very well. We highlighted that in another recap recently, and you guys are both just kind of okay at it. Obviously, 3D is not that strong of a nuke team either. They hovered a 40% win rate over the last month in 6 games. But at the same time, that's way better than going straight into Liquid's wheelhouse. And that's what we saw play out. This was 13-4. It was completely one-sided, because Liquid, come hell or high water, are just very good at spreading out and getting CT side round wins on the hardest CT sided map in the game. So yeah, by some miracle, Liquid are making it into the playoffs of EPL. Will they be able to do anything there? Oh God, you know, I just want to say no. Yeah, so I said that last take before I went and double checked the playoff matches. Liquid are playing Vitality, so yeah, no, it's been a good run, Liquid. Made the quarterfinals. Good job. But I'll see you guys at PGL, I guess, because, or Blast Lisbon, I think, is first. But you get my point. Liquid are getting bounced out in the first round. Like, unless a miracle happens. But hey, made it to the playoffs. After that, we had by far the series of the day, and probably of the event so far, Falcons taking on Eternal Fire. And anytime we get to see Zontaras and Niko match up, it's always going to be cinema. The problem was both of these guys were just kind of mid for the entire series. Neither of them were at peak powers, which makes this game a lot more interesting to talk about then, because it falls to everybody else to pick up the slack. These are top-heavy, superstar-first carry kind of teams, so when those two don't show up in the server, everyone else has to pick up the slack, and the storylines become infinitely more interesting. First off, on Inferno, Eternal Fire opened up with a strong win, 13-8. The big thing to focus on here was that Falcons were in a dominant position going into the second half. They were up 8-4, finishing their CT side efforts, going into the T side. We all know how good Niko can be on the banana control on that side of the map. And then Falcons blanked them 9-0 in the second half, all the way to the very end. And so what really went wrong here was honestly, Woxic and Wakadia were unreal on the CT side defense. Woxic especially, who pops up for 16 kills, 1 death, a 3.0 rating, and over 160 ADR with the fucking op. Wakadia, for the record, 12-4, right there with him. Jada, 7-1. You didn't even need Zontaras and Major. They were cool just coasting in the background. They stopped Falcons at the door every single time. And the big thing to focus on is that nobody on Falcons could get a kill to save their lives. The most kills they got were Tessa's with 4. You just got firepower diffed, unfortunately. And when we head into Mirage and Falcons start off going 6-0 on their T side, I'm thinking, alright, we're back. Niko's fully in control. He is just so good on Mirage. Eternal Fire, they really have to battle back. Zontaras has not had a hot start to the series, so there's no one besides Wakadia and maybe Jota who can possibly stop him. Eternal Fire then proceeded to win the next 6 rounds to battle it back to an even half, and then after losing the pistol round on the T side, started running up those rounds again, and I was fully convinced that Falcons were about to throw this game immeasurably to the point of pure comedy, where it was faced with a true dilemma. The same dilemma I've been faced with several times. Laughing at Falcons and them bombing out of the tournament because it's funny to see them fail, but also hating to not see Niko in the playoffs. The duality of man has never been more clear. Thankfully, Niko heard my prayers, and when they were up against the wall, pushed the Falcons into overtime, where everything clicked into place. I don't even really think Eternal Fire made that many mistakes, at least not any like severe ones in their T-side approaches. they just got outshot in those last pivotal rounds when they had match point. They had 3 good opportunities, and they failed. In the overtime, Kicksan kicked things off with an awesome 4K. That definitely helped. And when Falcons swept overtime the first 3 rounds before going to their T-side, it was very clear we were going to dust too. I think this was just another classic Niko carry performance on Mirage. His comfort around connector. I would make the argument. Obviously, Niko is infamous for being the best yard player in the history of Nuke. Until Donk has been here for like another 2 years, Niko is also the best connector player we have ever seen in Mirage. And honestly, some days I feel like he's better at Mirage than he is Nuke. Just because you can have so much more impact at that connector position. Yard is important, but you can win Nuke T-side rounds without touching the yard. We've seen that before. But if you can't control mid on Mirage, you're fucked. And when Niko's playing a connector, you're fucked more often than you're not. And I feel like the way the series was heating up, we just needed Zontaras to wake up. And on Dust 2, we could have this epic final clash to close the series. Bit of a problem with that. Niko only got 5 kills. He went 5 and 14. And if Kicksan and Dexter are forced to carry while Tessas and Niko are in the gutters, that is, this one may shock you. That is not ideal. I'm no expert, but that's not good. It sucks to see how this game ended, because Eternal Fire did not look bothered. They dominated the T-side 8-4. Wacadia was playing out of his fucking mind. And he's had so many pop-off carries in this tournament. He's really blossomed into such a great accent piece next to Zontaras that they can even afford for Zontaras to have quiet games and still win. Which is just so unthinkable, because not even 6 months ago, that just could not happen. Calyx certainly couldn't do it, and Wacadia hadn't leveled up his game. But to see a player just grow so much in a short space of time is just very fun to see play out. And his rifling just looks so sharp. Woxic's covering his angles when he misses, and then Zontaras was able to wake up on the CT side when Wacadia dropped back a little bit, and that helped shut things down. Now there's one round in specific that needs to be highlighted. Late down the stretch of that second half, Falcons are pushing for long control. All 4 get out, Dexter throws a smoke in front of the pit and jumps in. The problem is that he is spotted by Woxic as he jumps into pit. That gives every other Eternal Fire player the initiative to try and push back on the smoke that Dexter just threw to retake the control. Unfortunately, all 3 other Falcons players are rotating off of long with their backs turned to the corner as this happens, giving Zontaras the freest triple spray of his entire career. This is a simple, straightforward breakdown in communications from the Falcons. The smoke that Dexter threw is not necessarily a bad smoke, but nobody is watching their ass as they rotate off, which they should be. Dexter can't cover the close angle. Everyone should be aware of that. Whoever is last in the pack needs to have his head on a swivel. Keep an eye out for this kind of thing so that you guys don't all get sprayed down with Dexter unable to cover yourselves. It just sucks. And I'm assuming that Zonic is just ripping his hair out watching this play out in real time, knowing he can't do anything to stop it. And he also coached the most efficient, tactically evolved team to ever fucking play the game, where this would have never happened. Astralis would never make this mistake in a million years in their prime. It's just so unfortunate. And then the Eternal Fire, Wacadia has a great solo A-hold the round after. Falcons, they win a couple rounds, make it a little bit close. But Eternal Fire on match point, and they were very clearly playing better Counter-Strike in this series, which means Falcons are going home. No consecutive playoff runs for the Falcons. Too bad. So sad. I'm sure the oil money will keep you company at night. And that means we are left with one series to end the day. It was G2 taking on GamerLegion. G2 cleaned this up pretty nicely. 13-11 on Inferno, 13-9 on Nuke. I think the first thing that has to be mentioned is that GamerLegion were sick. Apparently there was a lot of sickness going around EPL this time around, but Ash even talked about it in an HLTV interview after. But Rez was very sick. Other players were affected too. When the Falcons Eternal Fire series went to a third map, Rez literally had to go sleep on site for an hour because he was so tired. I'm sure you all saw, if you watched the games, that he was wearing a mask while he was there. Some dumbasses in the chat were like, why is Rez wearing a mask? It's because he doesn't want to get other people sick. You fucking idiot. You fucking heathen. Like, It's not some COVID anti-vax conspiracy to just not want to spread your sick to other people. Absolute Neanderthals in Twitch chat, to the surprise of, I guess, nobody. But it absolutely affects the outcome of the game, right? Like, Rez and PR did not play to their same level in previous days. They're sick. That's gonna happen. I do think full strength, GamerLegion would beat this G2 outside of like m0NESY, Malbs, hyper carry bullshit, because their tactics are obviously far superior, and then their players are just not that far behind. I think GamerLegion any other day would be the one to win this series, and I think G2, they just got to pass to the playoffs. And part of me is like, that's good because we get to see m0NESY and Malbs in a playoff again, but it's bad because Snacks gets a pass because he had to play a team that was under the weather and not at 100%. And the tactics weren't great. You watch the games, they weren't. It still came down to like Hunter having to pop off on Inferno to support m0NESY. It was Malbs and m0NESY on Nuke just going crazy on the individuals. How many times are we going to have to say this? G2 just live and die by 20 plus kill carry games. And it's just not sustainable. It's so frustrating to watch them continue to win when all it amounts to is spinning the wheels. Because outside of a literal lightning strike, it is lottery level chances that they could win a tier 1 event against teams like Vitality, Spirit, Na'Vi, or even Mongols or Eternal Fire when they're on their game. It's just so frustrating because GamerLegion can. I want to see GamerLegion against a team like the Mongols, like Eternal Fire, like Na'Vi, because they are competitive enough to make those series close. So now, in 2 days, we gotta watch G2 play Mouse, a battle of both teams having no in-game leader. It's just not gonna be that good of Counter-Strike to watch. I'm sorry, as a viewer, I'm going to find that game not very entertaining. Like, what more of an indictment can I give over G2's quality of play than very clearly GamerLegion not being at their best and still being 2 rounds from winning Inferno and only 3 from winning on Nuke? This was still very nearly a 3-map series, if not a GamerLegion win. And that's just diabolical. Go look at the box scores. Slend went 6-18 on Inferno. GamerLegion still nearly won. Slend went 7-14 on Nuke. GamerLegion still very nearly won. Like, it's just, I get so frustrated because I want to just sit here and talk about how good m0NESY is. But this Counter-Strike that they play is borderline depressing to watch because you know what you're going to get. m0NESY's going to have to get a multi-kill, or Malbs is going to have to get a multi-kill. There's just no other option for this team to win rounds. Heavy God has not been good at this tournament either. I feel like I kind of give him the pass on that because he's having to do a lot to make their CT sides even hold together with like any kind of validity. But yeah, that's about all of my takes on that match. I don't really want to get into the individual rounds because I just don't really have anything to say about it. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and end it there. Let me know what you guys think about these matchups in the comments down below. Are you guys excited about the playoffs? I am about every other match, and we'll be here covering them as they happen. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm, and it helps us out with our goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you so much. Thank you to Skin Club for sponsoring this video. Check the top link in the description to get a 7% deposit bonus the next time you fill up. Please gamble safely and responsibly. Thank you to my channel members, Justin, Jesse, Furley, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, B1 Games, Cody Foxworthy, Justin Vander, Vegt, I'm Flashbang, and Snowy White, and our newest channel member, Roddy. If you want to become a channel member, you can just click the link in the description down below. For $5 a month, you can support directly, get your name at the end of the video just like this, as well as a custom role in our community Discord. Thank you to our channel members. Follow me on twitch.tv/LionHeartZ2, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Peace.